Welcome back to Barry Charles Footy Show. We got our next video right here, right now, as we continue to look at the legends of the game. If they came back into your squad in 2023, how could they deliver you a premiership? Yes, well, we're going to look through some of the from 12th to 9th on how they went last year and see what players we would bring back. A lot of people would nag me that I went for mainly backs, but that's not always the case, as you'll see in this video today. But first of all, let's look at the Bulldogs. Yes, the Bulldogs. There's a lot of credentialed players in this, so I had to try and narrow it down to 5. First of all, wingers. I think they're sorely missing another good winger with Josh Illawarra. And I think if you added a goal-kicking winger into the squad of Hasmail Masri or Daryl Halligan, will instantly make this team a premiership threat. Obviously, if you want to bring back standards to the club, you would just go straight to Sonny Bill Williams. Absolutely, his professionalism, his winning attitude will bring a lot to the squad. But to me, they're missing a few things, but they're missing a leader in the halves. Now, this was a tough one for me, which one to pick, because you got Matt Burton, and Matt Burton, well, I could argue he's a 6, he's a 7, but I just had to go on what I thought. If you were a Bulldogs fan, who would you want to have in your team? And Steve Warner, absolute legend, absolute outstanding player, but everyone remembers Terry Lamb, what he did in the grand final. Everyone remembers what Terry Lamb did. He just exudes talent. He love for the Bulldogs. He's a leading man now. I met him the other day when I went to a corporate event during the season. Outstanding character. I met him in the grand final before. So met him a few times. Very good when the Warriors made the grand final, when they made all 3 grand finals back in the day in 2011. So Terry Lamb, to me, just a standout. Very much a good kid, a family man, Bulldogs through and through. And interesting that he's never, was he interested in going back in the coaching ranks? Well, who knows, but he's always been part of the club, and Terry Lamb, to me, would instantly make this Bulldogs team with Matt Burton into a premiership force. Now let's look at Manly, who absolutely went down the ladder, absolutely crash bang walloped because of the Pride jersey saga. And will they continue into this season? Is he a player from the past that can reunite this team? This was really another one of my teams, Manly. This was tough to really knock down who to put in here. Breach Stewart, a star player, no doubt about it, but Tommy Trefoy-Bridge, pretty much the same with Matthew Ridge. There's a couple of players. You want some impact in the centres. Steve Matai, he would bring that. And definitely, if you want a steelier defence, him in there. Jamie Lyon, outstanding player, can play a lot of positions and would be the replacement for Dylan Walker. Well, better player than Dylan Walker, but in the same ilk. Then you got the back rowers. There's so many gun back rowers. Obviously Ben Kennedy. Also, obviously Cliff Lyons is in the mix for this thing. Glenn Stewart, Anthony Watmo. There's so many good players, and I've probably left out another dozen that could easily been on this list. But I had to narrow it down to one player, and I decided that in Manly they have a lot of things covered, but they lack the second row, and I think they're missing a link player. I think that's what they're missing. I think they have the residential with Josh Schuster now at number 6, and the man who would be the benefit and would benefit the team was Steve Menzies. He was one of my favourite players, one of the most underrated players, I believe. People say it's because of Cliffy Lyons, but he had to be there to deliver it, and he delivered at all levels, New South Wales and Australia. And when he got dropped from New South Wales, that's when Queensland went on their big run. It was just ridiculous that they dropped the great Beaver Menzies. Once they dropped him, it was pretty much chaos from there. he still had a couple good years. Just New South Wales just don't pick and stick, and it's just so sad, especially when they're good players like that. And a player at his height of his game, Glenn Stewart, couldn't even make much New South Wales squads. It's just ridiculous. New South Wales selection anyway, but that's another story altogether. The Dragons. Well, the Dragons have a lot of off-field dramas, people not turning up to their function, which, to be fair, why would they have the function so late in the year? It should be done straight after the footy, so to be fair, I don't know, it's a bad look, but I think there was a lot more. But yes, this one was an interesting one. Here, the Dragons. Who do they need? Obviously, they need a strike winger. Nathan Blacklock will bring that. Centre's been a bit of a, like, Zach Lomax hasn't really got up to their level, or Jack Boo when he's played there, they just haven't got up to their level of the Mark Gasnier or Matt Cooper. So one of those two would be great for this team. Just the way Gasnier could just run a hole. He's just outstanding in Matt Cooper's defence. They're a dynamic duo. Brad Mackay, he would bring some steeliness in the defence, but they already have Jack DeBell, and they already have that sort of thing. So who do they need? Who do they desperately need? They need some entertainment machine. They need someone who can absolutely pull a rabbit out of the hat and really make this team something outstanding. And it's Anthony Mundine. And I put it right here, right now, the most underrated footballer in NRL history. Absolutely underrated. Absolutely should have played New South Wales. Way more. He really is he was a gun player, and he was so underutilised. Same with Nathan Blacklock. I'll put them both in the same sentence. Both of these two should have been playing regularly for New South Wales, and New South Wales would have been a force, but they just got overlooked. Same with Nathan Merritt. These players just keep getting overlooked. Alex Johnson is a curing cream here. I'm not going to go into political stuff, but there's some very good players who just keep not getting picked, and even as recently it was Edo Carr getting dropped. So I mean, it's still happening to this day. That gun players are not getting picked in the top sides because of personality and other stuff. And which leads us to Brisbane. The Brisbane team, they should have finished in the top, at least the top 8, but probably the top 4, the way they had played most of the season. They fell off the wayside, and Adam Reynolds could not get them out of it. But again, Adam Reynolds is not the forward pack. The forward pack cannot do anything. It's pretty hard for the half pack to get them out of trouble. But where do we need? We need some steeliness in the Broncos. Absolutely steeliness. You obviously got Steve Renouf. He can bring some razzle dazzle, but they have an outstanding backline, to be fair. But he would bring something to their backline. The halves pairing. Someone for Adam Reynolds, so Steve Walters, Kevin Walters player, and Kevin Walters would be the coach, would be a handy to be able to put onto the team. But to me, the forward pack, they just lack some leadership for a long time. They have the young talent, but they needed an old head that steady the ship. And they had Ryan James there, but I think they need someone a bit more focal. And one of these two players, either of them, would be outstanding investments for this thinking. Gordon Tallis, the Raging Bull, absolute gun, absolute brought fear to the opposition. He was absolute outstanding player for the Dragons and the Broncos. He's really a good player, Gordon Tallis. Very, very good player. He would bring instant impact to the squad. And the other one, this is the other one, you can decide who you think. But I think a prop leader would be probably my top guy here, Shane Webke. Absolutely. Or Simon Asiva. You can either pick one of those two. Both of them very good players. But I think Shane Webke would just bring that bit more presence and that, just that steeliness that the side needs. And show Payne Huff's the way of what you should be doing as an NRL player. I think he would be my top pick, but him or Gordon Tallis or Petro, any one of those three absolute leaders of the game. You put them in the squad, they would be a big difference. And going back to the Bulldogs, I left out Steve Price, but he would be a great leader for the forward pack as well. He would be very handy for the Bulldogs as well. Some good leadership there. He would be an option as well. But anyway, That's Barry Chow signing off from this Legends video, who will make a difference in your team in 2023. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with plenty more videos to come. Have a great day.